because these boys swing with aggression, and each one of them has 220-plus pounds behind each one of those throws.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they could put each other to sleep pretty easy. Yeah, and I think what you're going to have is you're going to go, and you got Jared who's going to say, okay, I'm more amble, more nimble. I'm going to try to get in, get out. Kind of be the smaller heavyweight.
Yeah, well, and he definitely is throwing some kicks with some nice aggression. I like that he's throwing them low and then throwing them high, kind of maintaining that distance, making Mark kind of think twice about coming in and closing that distance. But Mark is pretty nimble on his feet for being as heavy as he is. The hopping back and forth with ease, a nice leg kick by Mark Gonzalez.
Yeah, Mark's pretty heavy.
He's heavy and he's putting that weight on right now, but I'm more impressed with how nimble he is for his weight class.
Well, he's been working hard. He's going, both of these guys, honestly, right now.
And he's light compared to what he used to be, right?
Yes. And he does have much better cardio. Now, what I'm curious to see are how are these guys cardio in the fight. Now, you will say that, what Jarrett has the advantage in terms of experience. So you would think he would be a little bit more calm. But then again, Mark's coming down 3-2 and a 3-2.
Right. Well, and Mark looks really calm and composed, and he's training out a pretty reputable gym too. Mm-hmm. So he's getting that work in before any of his fights. I know you've told me in the past that One Hit does work the Shark Tank.
Yeah, and he's been doing his rounds. He's been being pushed. He's been being yelled at in the Shark Tanks. Come on, Mark.
So he should definitely have it in him to go 3 rounds in this fight.
He definitely should. I mean, he's been definitely doing it with people, a new, fresh body every minute, pushing him.
Right. And he seems really composed. He's still moving back and forth really well. He does seem a little bit slower on his dance than he did at the beginning of the round, but you kind of expect that
exactly
as the nerves start to settle a little bit.
I'm kind of looking for that, to be honest with you. Now, what I'm actually looking for Jared to be doing is nice big heavy leg.
You do not see a 265-pound guy throw a head kick like that very often.
Kung Fu Panda, look at his shorts.
That was outstanding.
And honestly, if you knew Mark,
that big switch kick out of Mark.
If Mark could separate, he could sleep him. He's hurt.
Very quick on that switch to get that leg up there.
He's bleeding.
And there is a lot.
Leaking.
It's coming out of the nose, and it's draining. Yeah, it's draining like a faucet now.
He's hurt right now.
I would love to see Mark separate and start exchanging. He's going for a standing guillotine. These are really hard to finish at this weight class because you can't get the separation as clean under the chin. And we're going to see a round number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe.
It could be on his eye. I can't see. He's right in front of us.
No,
Please don't split it on me.
It's the nose.
Is it the nose?
Yeah, it's coming out of the nose. You can see it right there. There may be a little gash as well on the bridge, but that is all coming out of the nose right now. Yeah, there's a small gash on the bridge, but not enough to...
It was that shit in the nose.
Yeah, that was all inside the nose dripping out. That gash is not big enough to...
His nose hurt. He's hurt.
Yeah, that thing's broken.
Yeah, he's hurting. They might call it.
Yeah.
If he keeps wincing like this,
Doc's
going to call it.
Well, and Doc's going to ask on vision here very soon to see if he can even see with a broken nose like that.
Yeah, I mean, he might not. If he keeps wincing like that, that's where you got to put your poker face on.
If you want to keep fighting. Yeah. But that's where it comes to that heart of the fighter. Well, how much do you want to be in this? And you see right there, Doc's checking his vision. He's checking the peripherals. He's making sure that he can see before he lets him get back in there. Now, what I'm really surprised at is they didn't have the corner putting Vaseline on those cuts to keep the blood from pouring, because
that's going to come in 2 seconds.
Every time that there's pressure, he's going to start pouring out blood.
Yeah, and you see the Kung Fu Panda over here. He's got blood all over his belly.
Yeah.
I love it.
This has been I'm going to say a shocking first round.
It is.
I do not ever expect big boys like that to throw as clean of a head kick, especially off of a switch like that.
Hey, look at him. He's coming out like a beast.
You know, both of these guys got heart, dedication, and fighting spirit because I'll tell you right now, if I ate 263 pounds to the face with
Mark's
a kick like that,
a lot of weight on him.
I'd have been sleeping.
Well, look, Mark's putting a lot of weight on him. Look at that, he's on his toes.
You know what? That shows the strength, though, of Jared George still able to stand back up.
And here goes Jared with the single leg.
I don't think he's going to get that single.
Nope.
I think that he needs to work on swimming through and changing the angle, trying to get through to the side and change it. If he could swim through, take that right arm and try and go under and up, he could change the angle and really work to his advantage. But, man, Mark did a great job there reading it and taking that shot.
He wants the head kick knockout. Kung Fu Panda wants that highlight film.
Yeah, he felt it in the first round, and he wants to go for it again.
He does. Now you don't want to see it. Now what we want to see him do is just keep fighting, right? I mean,
yes.
Let's get back to the
and that's what you're seeing out of Jared. Again, though, Jared needs to be careful of not overcommitting.
Nice.
And he just ate a big hand.
Jared's quitting over there, it looks like.
Well, he ate a big hand as Mark broke away, and I think it had a little bit more impact than Mark realized because he went down pretty quick.
Oh yeah. I mean, he like stopped.
And that wasn't a give up. That was
it's coming right now, so I take what I said back.
No, yeah, George is definitely in this fight, but that rocked him, and that rocked him pretty hard.
Well, I think you felt the power Mark has right now. I was watching sparring a couple weeks back. Mark dropped two people in like the same Shark Tank. Two people came in, two people left. One of them went to sleep. The other one's was bent over, and we had to bring in a new body.
Probably all in the first minute, right? The same minute, right?
Probably it was probably the same minute.
Well, and that's kind of what you expect. And again, why I love these heavyweight fights, because again, you're seeing 225 plus pounds of impact with every shot that they're throwing. And so you're seeing a lot of big impact shots. Now, there might not be as much action as, like, say, the third fight of the night, Cage Street and John Smith, where they're fighting at 130 pounds, and they've got energy for days.
But they can also take those shots.
They can take exactly. You're seeing, these guys at 225 to 263 pounds. Each one of these shots has the ability to knock out a lesser man. Each one of them.
Your brain doesn't want to take these types of jarring. It kind of sends signals that says, no, this isn't right, man. And you want to go to sleep.
I mean, that is honestly the best way to say it. Your brain doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Your brain really does not want to get hit with that kind of weight.
And so it shuts it off. Resets it.
And that shows.
He's going for that again. He wants it.
And again, that shows the kind of warrior that Jared George is, that he's taken those shots that have wobbled him, that have made him almost blind at the end of the first round, and he's still in the fight.
And I expect nothing less out of him. When you mentioned that he'd gone the 3 rounds with Kendrick, I thought to myself, this kid's going to stay in here for you're going to have to shut him off.
Well, and Kendrick Wolf, Jared George's last opponent, he went all 3 rounds with him, right, to a decision. Kendrick Wolf is one of the heaviest hands that we have seen in Steel Fist in a while.
And he'll fight.
And 100%. Whether he's getting beat up or he's not, he's pushing.
He will fight.
And he's putting everything into it. And someone like Jared George that's able to go all 3 rounds with that, this guy's a warrior.
Uh-huh. Well, and I kind of like we're going into the 3rd round. We got Mason Moyes in the corner over here with him. Mason was talking about how big of a beast he's been, and honestly, he's coming out and acting like a savage right now. So I got to give Mason props for being in his corner right now.
Well, and he's yelling at him, telling him to do the right things. But I'm looking over at Jared George's corner, who is just as much pumping him up, telling him to keep it going. And Jared looks like he's ready for this round.
I expect a different round 3 than we saw round 2.
Definitely. And I'm excited for round 3 because this is the war of attrition right now. This is the round that is all heart, especially at this heavyweight division.
Yeah, exactly. This is where we're going to see, because I think what you're going to see is Jared come out, see with this pace.
Yeah, Jared's coming forward, and you've got
he's poked.
Mark is breathing heavy.
He slams him. No.
As I'm talking about the labored breathing of Mark, he makes it look easy.
Oh, he picked him up and just threw him through the canvas.
Now, Mark has about 40 pounds, 38 pounds of weight advantage over George.
And look at where the blood's going now, ladies and gentlemen. Look at where the blood's going.
Is Jared going to be able to keep breathing from that blood?
I'd like to see Mark try to get the mount from here.
Right.
If he gets it mount, I think it's all over for Jared.
You know, I agree with you. The blood's going into his eyes. It's going into his face. It's making it very difficult for Jared George to do anything. But is Mark a good enough wrestler to move and maneuver in this position, or is he just going to depend on his weight to control the action at this point?
I think he could get to that position if he wanted to.
You know, honestly,
as of right now, he might not need it because we're not seeing any bridging.
No, but what you are seeing is blocking out of Jared.
I saw it.
And I like seeing that, and it makes it very difficult. But you've got someone that
block right where
big.
Post on that hip.
Well, in the average weight class, you are within 10 pounds of your opponent, not 40 pounds of your opponent. And bridging makes a difference at those lower weight classes. At this upper weight class with this big of a difference, how much is bridging really going to change the shape of this position for Jared George?
Hey, Jared's pretty strong now.
No, Jared's strong, and dude is a warrior. The way that he's taken some punishment, and he is still in this fight, I guarantee he has zero visibility.
Well, I'm sure
he can't see a thing.
Just to work. Right now, we got a minute left in the fight.
Mark's working so he doesn't get stood up.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. He's working just to work.
He's not doing anything to win the fight at this position. But man, Jared can't do anything. He can't see.
His eyes are closed.
Cannot see a thing right now.
No. His eyes are closed. Right now he's just holding on for dear life, trying to get stood up.
And that speaks to the
not quitting.
Well, and that speaks to the heart and internal warrior that Jared George has inside of him, because he is staying in this thing with his eyes shut.
How many other people would have broke?
I would have tapped.
Yeah, I mean, gosh.
Just
tough
out,
kid.
not out of being a wuss. Okay, maybe a little bit about being a wuss, but I would have tapped just out of the fact that I can't go on. I'm not able to see my opponent or anything, let alone be able to effectively counter anything that's going on. And Jared's still in this game. He's got 10 seconds left.
10 seconds left.
He's going to carry out the round. There you go. Mark gets that mount, but again,
10 seconds left.
Mark's owned this round the whole time through, so I don't think he needed to do that, but that definitely put it on that little exclamation point at the end of the round.
That might have been more a mental victory.
Like, I got that before the round ended. I definitely think that Mark did everything he needed to do to win this fight, 3 rounds to none. But man, I gotta say, Jared George is a hell of a warrior.
Oh yeah.